Being diagnosed with BPD, borderline personality disorder, ruined my life. And here's how. Hey, what's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Lydia, and if you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join the growing family, turn notifications on, and while you're down there, give me a thumbs up because it really does help me out. So, how exactly did being diagnosed with BPD ruin my life? Let's start at the beginning. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at age 17. I was turning 18 that year, and my CAMS worker, CAMS psychiatrist, got together and they were like, Lydia, you've got borderline personality disorder. And at first I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't understand what borderline personality disorder was. They didn't give me any information on it, they just told me that I had it. And I was like, okay, I got a diagnosis, let's go roll with that. Then I moved to Preston, it was in Lancashire, to go to university. That was my first university. I've been to 3 different universities. So yeah, BPD ruined my life. Shock, I know. But basically I was diagnosed at 17. When I moved to Preston when I was 18, I was under the mental health services there because I had BPD. And I was literally neglected for 2 years straight. I want to go back to when I was 13. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder type 1 because I was experiencing mania and psychosis. However, at that point, they didn't know the psychosis was occurring outside of the episode, so it wasn't diagnosed as schizoaffective disorder. Back to BPD. They took my BPD diagnosis over the bipolar disorder. So when I was manic from taking antidepressants, they was like, oh, it's just in your head. Great advice. Really great advice. As that time has progressed, I was getting treated awfully. Every time I took an overdose, it's like, oh, it's just because of your BPD, it's not because you're suicidal. And the reality is, I was suicidal. I was actively suicidal. I was making attempts on my life every day. I didn't want to be alive. And when I said that, they was like, well, we're going to send you home. And I was like, well, I'll end up back here within 24 hours. Hopefully dead. And the amount of times that I have gone into hospital because of suicidal thoughts is ridiculous. I was put on section 136s by police because they knew I was struggling, and nothing happened until one distinct point. I bought a Stanley knife off the internet, and I said very straight to a worker that didn't know me, it's in the mail and I'll get it today. And she was like, if you leave, I'm going to call the police. And I left because fuck, am I going to get detained under the Mental Health Act? So I went back to mine. Then when the police arrived, they had me come outside, and then they searched me and they was like, we're detaining you under section 136. And I was like, okay, this will be over in a few hours. And I got put on a section 2 for the first time as an adult. And I was only in there for 2 weeks. And then in between I got arrested for wasting police time because I phoned the crisis team and they sent the police. But after I was arrested, I was then sectioned under section 2 of the Mental Health Act, went back to the same ward, was there for 2 weeks, got discharged. Then 2 weeks later, I had to go to court, and after court I was so disappointed because they adjourned it to a trial because I went not guilty. And I just felt like a load had been put on me. Like, I was under this stress of going back to court in September. It was June. And the thing that scared me the most was the fact that I could have gone to prison because of it. And all this time they're treating my BPD, despite the fact that I also had PTSD, I had bipolar diagnosed, I had dissociative disorders diagnosed, I had an eating disorder, I had major depression diagnosed. BPD took over my life and it ruined my life. It made me so suicidal that my university said I had to go a year without police involvement to return to that university. So I withdrew from University of Central Lancashire and I moved to West London University, where I started from the beginning again. I started back in my first year. And it took me 8 years to get my degree, but I got my degree. Because my psychiatrist last year diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder and put me on the right medication. But once they started taking the bipolar diagnosis serious in London, I got the help that I needed, which was medication. Because I'd asked to go on to lithium previously when I was diagnosed with BPD. I was like, lithium has been proven to help with BPD. Because I know you need to manage with therapy. And I did therapy twice. 2 different people. I did DBT twice. I did CBT 3 times. I did trauma therapy for 1 day. I did talking therapy for 8 months. I did a lot of therapy. And they still wouldn't medicate me. When I say medication saved my life, it literally took me from pits of being suicidal, actively suicidal and making attempts, to feeling normal. Like, yes, I still get suicidal now, and I do struggle sometimes, as you've seen in my previous videos, but truly, that BPD diagnosis held me back so much. And I honestly don't think I'd be here today if it hadn't been changed to my primary diagnosis hadn't been changed to bipolar. With the BPD removed, I don't think I'd be alive today. Because it literally ruined my life. Thank you for watching, and if you had a similar experience, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your story. And if you didn't know, I have a Patreon, and I'm going to be returning to Patreon very soon. So when I am on Patreon, you're going to get exclusive content, one direct way to message me, and if you're on the higher tier of £50 a month, which you don't have to do that, but I would appreciate it if you did, you get a postcard sent your way. True London postcard. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.